The 30-day challenge is over. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and for the past 30 days I've been working with the Galaxy Note 2 as one of my primary devices. Now, there are a lot of things I like about this device, and just to give you a quick recap, take a look at the reviews, the dogfights, and the challenge videos to date. What I like about this is it's packing a quad-core device, and at least now in the States, it's packing 4G LTE connectivity. So when this rolls out on AT&T, you can pick up 4G LTE and not have to sacrifice that quad-core processor for a dual-core processor. You get full processing power. So specs-wise, it's really incredibly well equipped with a 1.6 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor, a big 5.5-inch display, and just to give you a recap from all of the challenge videos, it's a bigger display obviously, but what I'm liking about this is the ability to hold it in my hand. It's a longer, kind of narrower display as opposed to the original Galaxy Note, so it's much easier to hold in the hand, and you can see that the display to me, and actually the device itself as well, looks a lot like a big Galaxy S3. You've got the physical home button, you got menu and back, it's capacitive buttons in the back. Again, very similar in terms of look and feel to the Galaxy S3. So they're kind of synchronizing those design lines, and it's got a big battery as well. So this is going to be one of those devices, unfortunately, where it's not something like, you know what, let's say you don't like big devices, you can't totally disregard it because it's got some great specs, and likewise, it's got some killer specs for people that are techies, killer specs for people that are road warriors because it's packing a big 3,100 milliamp hour battery. So hey, you may not like the size, but this still may be something you need to go with just because it's got a big battery and can handle 4G LTE for most of the day without having to worry about recharging. 3,100 milliamp hour battery. It's also packing Android 4.1, which, like I noted in a previous challenge video, 4.1 is a nice addition, very fast, although I'm not noticing really any speed boosts from Android 4.0. So comparing this, for example, to the Galaxy S3, I'm not really seeing a huge speed boost by any means. I find it to be about as responsive, maybe a little bit more responsive, but nothing amazing in terms of like speed differences between the Galaxy S3 and the Note 2. Still very responsive, little to no lag across the board, and obviously you can see the implementation of Android 4.1. Multi-screen, or multi-view for the multi-screen stuff, unfortunately not on this device just yet, but quite a few people have had the software update roll out. That's a great feature for a lot of people. Personally, I don't really find that useful. I prefer to do one thing on my device. This screen isn't large enough to me to justify two different things, whereas maybe the Nexus 10, or actually not the Nexus 10, for example, the Galaxy Tab 2, 10.1, the Galaxy Note 10.1 rather, it does have that multi-screen capability. That's a big enough display to justify it. Whereas to this to me rather, 5.5-inch display, not big enough. I'll keep it to one thing and then just switch around. Google Now is also included on this in addition to Samsung's S Voice, so you've got full Google Now capabilities, all the notifications appear in the notifications bar. Now, what you've been dying to hear, am I going to keep this after the 30 days? And drum roll please, at least right now, I am not going to keep it. I'm going back to the Samsung Galaxy S3. I find that size-wise, because here's the thing, I love TouchWiz. I think it's the best implementation of a user interface on Android. It's great for high-end users because it seamlessly integrates with Android 4.0 and 4.1. It works really well. There's really little to no lag as a result of the user interface. It's not too clunky to me. Really enjoy it, but the size for this one is just a little bit too big for me. The Galaxy S3 is a perfect size for my personal tastes, so I've gone back to the red Samsung Galaxy S3, and I'm using that for right now. That said, there are quite a few things that are kind of catching my eye. The HTC Windows Phone 8X, which I have on my desk right now, a couple of other devices that are coming out in the next couple of weeks. Really impressed with a lot of the devices this holiday season, so stay tuned for more, most likely at least, more 30-day challenges. And in the meantime, hit me up on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Let me know which challenge you'd like to see next. Maybe it's the Lumia 920, maybe it's the 8X, maybe it's the let's think, the Samsung Galaxy Rugby Pro, for example. Maybe it's something else that's coming soon, the Xperia TL, perhaps the Lumia 820, perhaps the Ativ Odyssey when it comes out on Verizon. Let me know what 30-day challenge you'd like to see. PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog, and Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. But for now, I think this is a great device. This does not at all diminish the fact that I really enjoy this device. I really love the S Pen. This is something I've been having a hard time, or will have a hard time, when I switch back. I noticed it before when I switched from the Note, the original Note, to the Galaxy S3, and I'll probably notice it now when I go from the Note 2 back to the Galaxy S3. Not having the S Pen, kind of frustrating because I've gotten used to using this for taking notes, and I love the new features like Page Buddy, where it shows up and kind of gives you all of these little easy to access things like, hey, you know what, you pulled out the S Pen. First of all, you can see it's detached. Second of all, you get the ability to create a note right from this kind of customized home screen. So that's a nice feature. And then of course I can double tap and bring up a customized note on the main display. And let me do that, for example, so you can take a look at a customized S Note. So I can be in the middle of a call and I can be taking notes, and I can save those directly to my SMMOs folder. So it's got some great features. It's a huge improvement over the original Note. If you like the original Note, you like content creation, maybe you've been considering a tablet but you don't want to carry two devices around, this is going to be a device you want to consider when it comes to your respective carrier in the US. But for now, I'm going away from it. That's not to say I won't go back. I find that with a lot of these devices, when I do 30-day challenges, I get a couple of days in of being back on another device, and I find that I really miss the device I was testing for 30 days. So who knows, like anybody else, I get used to a device after using it for a couple of weeks. I may go back to the Note 2, but for now, I'm switching back to the Galaxy S3. Rest assured though, friends, I will keep you updated on whatever I do in addition to any 30-day challenges. Obviously, you'll see on YouTube at youtube.com/PhoneDog and on the site at PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage, more 30-day challenges, more coverage with the Galaxy Note 2, lots of exciting stuff coming up. This is going to roll out to several different carriers over the course of the rest of the year. Stay tuned for dogfights and more on PhoneDog.com. In the meantime, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what dogfight you'd like to see. PhoneDog_Aaron. Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. The 30-day challenge is over for now. I'm going away from it, but who knows? I could be back on the Note 2 in a couple of days. I'll keep you updated.